Summary of Into the Beautiful North by Luis Alberto Urrea. On a hot day, Scarface and his partner, a state police officer, make their way to Tres Camarones in order to deliver some marijuana to a couple of surfers from the United States. Almost instantaneously, Scarface and the state officer make fun of how small the town is. When they go to a taco shop called La Manocada, they harass Tacho, who is a gay bartender, as well as Nayeli, who is 19 years old and works as a waitress. Nayeli and Tacho go about their day after the bandidos leave. Nayeli thinks about her father, Don Pepe, who has been in the US for the past 3 years, and about her aunt Ta Irma's run for mayor. Nayeli even pulls out the last letter her father sent, which says, "Everything passes." Yolo, one of Nayeli's famous girlfriends, and Vampy, a goth, come over in the afternoon to use Tacho's computer to surf the web. The women of Tres Camarones go to a pond the next day to look for crabs. Nayeli finally tells Yolo that she kissed an American missionary named Matt before he left Tres Camarones a few years ago. As the girls get out of the water, Yolo is shocked to find out that no one in town is pregnant. When she and Nayeli tell the rest of the group about it, Irma and Tacho tell the girls that there are no men left in town, all the men went north, so no one can even get pregnant. The next day, when Irma takes her friends shopping in Mazatlan, she tells Nayeli about Shava Shavarn, a boy she liked when she was young. Irma can't tell Nayeli who will love her when she asks. As the election gets closer, Irma tries to force all the women in Tres Camarones to vote for her as mayor. She even goes to Garca, the owner of the local movie theater, and tries to force him to hire a woman to run the projector, which he thinks is wrong. Irma also makes him agree to show a Yul Brynner film festival, even though she thinks he is Mexican and Brynner is her favorite actor. Irma wins her race by a huge margin because Garca agrees with her. Garca makes sure that the movies Westworld and The Magnificent Seven are shown at the fair, and the whole village goes to the theater to watch them. Nayeli is getting excited as she watches The Magnificent Seven. After it's over, she takes Vampy and Yolo to the town square and tells them her plan. They need to go to the United States, find their own Magnificent Seven Mexican men, and bring them back to repopulate the village and save it from the bandidos. The girls decide to take Tacho with them since they agree. After a few days, Irma calls everyone in the town into her living room. She talks about how nice and helpful the people in the US were when she won the ladies' bowling championship there in the 1960s. Irma gives Nayeli Chava's phone number and tells her to call him as soon as they get to Tijuana. Nayeli tells her mother that she will try to bring Don Pepe back, and her mother tells her to take the letter from Don Pepe. The town gives the girls money, and Irma drives them to Mazatlan so they can catch a bus to Tijuana. Chuy, the bus driver, tells Irma he will take care of the girls. In the middle of the first night, Mexican police officers search the bus and pull off 2 Guatemalan refugees. The next day, Chuy stops the bus at a customs station. There, the chief, who is in charge of customs, picks on Tacho and attacks him in the bathroom. Just outside of Mexicali, the bus breaks down, and the girls and Tacho have to wait 9 hours for another bus. As Nayeli and Tacho get closer to Tijuana, they both think that the other side doesn't look as nice as it does in movies. When they get to their destination, they find that their bags never made it from the first bus to the second, and no one in Tijuana will help them. Tacho wonders if he is the only one who knows how bad things are. When they go downtown to eat, Nayeli uses a payphone to try to call Shava. The operator says that a number like the one Irma gave Nayeli hasn't been used since the 1960s. Nayeli and her friends walk around Tijuana's streets until it gets dark. When they finally get to a taco stand, a guy asks Nayeli if she's lost. She says that she is, and the man takes her to a hotel in the red light area. Even though everyone is thankful and goes to sleep, Nayeli wakes up in the middle of the night to find the man trying to break into the room. Nayeli is able to beat the man with her karate skills, but she doesn't sleep at all that night. The group goes to the border wall in the morning to see what's on the other side. After everyone has looked at the border patrol cars, Nayeli takes them all to the fruit store. Doa Oraceli and Don Porfirio, two beggars, are kind enough to ask Nayeli and her friends to go home with them. Nayeli is too tired to fight, so she lets the beggars take her to their home in the Tijuana dump. Nayeli is shocked by how poor and dirty her hosts are and how happy and kind they are. In the morning, Nayeli walks around the dump and looks at the graveyards. She finds the place strangely comfortable. Adamico, a young guy, walks up to Nayeli and tells her to pay attention. He has a huge bamboo samurai stick, which he uses to save Nayeli from zombies who are high on meth and want to jump her. Adamico follows Nayeli back to the home of Porfirio and Oraceli. Yolo and Vampy think Adamico is exciting and interesting. He says he will help them get across the border. When he whistles a rude tune, an old Oldsmobile comes around the corner and starts to rumble. The driver, a guy named Wino, shows Nayeli and her group around Tijuana before putting them in touch with a coyote who will help them sneak across the border. The fox makes it clear that he will leave his customers as soon as trouble starts. He does end up doing that, but Nayeli and her friends understand that the cop stopped to go to the bathroom, not to arrest them. The group is soon stopped by police and taken in, but Adamico manages to jump back over the fence. Agents Anderson and Smith bring their clients to a place where they can be held. Nayeli is removed from Tacho in the pen, so she watches the officers and tries to figure out what is different about them from her. She sees a black spy named Arnie, and he asks her questions. He doesn't believe a word of what she says, but he finds it very interesting, so he buys her food. As the people being deported are being led to a bus, Tacho yells the name of his bar, La Manocada, but an agent thinks he said Al-Qaeda. They put him in jail. When Nayeli and her friends get back to Tijuana the next morning, Adamico is there to meet them and show them where to stay. Nayeli sleeps all day and then calls Irma, who can't believe that Shava is no longer in Tijuana. Wino shows up and says he can help Nayeli out. He takes them to a muffler shop outside of town, where his uncle takes them into an underground cave. When they get to the other side, another man meets them and drives them to a dirt lot outside of San Diego. Adamico and Vampy are so happy about their success that they swing on every swing set they see as the group walks around the San Diego neighborhoods. After they get food at Jack in the Box, Nayeli calls Matt, the missionary she kissed many years ago. Matt is in town, which is good for Nayeli, but he is there to bury his mother, Ma Johnston, who died suddenly a few weeks ago. He drives to get the girls and Adamico and bring them back to his mother's house. He is amazed that the girls are now women. Matt takes the girls out to breakfast the next morning. Vampy meets El Brujo, a Mexican guy who is just as goth as she is, at the diner. That night, they go on their first date, and El Brujo wins Vampy's heart by singing her favorite song. While they are out, Nayeli and Yolo use the phone book to look up Shava and find him. Matt takes the girls to see him, and when they get there, they find out that he works as a cleaner at a bowling alley. Shava tells Nayeli how he hurt Irma by getting an American woman pregnant. He never told anyone that the woman left him or that he stayed in the US because he was too ashamed to accept his mistake. Irma became La Osa, or the she-bear, after she lost her love. After hitting Tacho and making him feel bad, the US agents sent him back to Tijuana. Tacho goes to a gay bar, where he meets Rigoberto, an older, rich guy who seems to like him. Rigoberto asks Tacho to come back to his house, which Tacho gladly does. Rigoberto makes Tacho tea the next morning in a glass teacup, which amazes Tacho. Then, Rigoberto dresses Tacho up as his buddy Willivaldo and uses Willivaldo's passport to sneak Tacho across the border. The two guys say their goodbyes uncomfortably, and then El Brujo picks up Tacho. That night, Matt goes to the house of his friend Carla and suggests that they make Nayeli a border patrol agent. During dinner, Shava joins the Mexican group and tells Nayeli that he knows a guy named Angel who might be a good hero to take back to the town. The next morning, Shava takes Nayeli, Tacho, and Adamico to a food store, where two white racists, Jimbo and Sully, bother them. Shava drives them the rest of the way to the migrant camp. When they get there, Angel comes out of the bamboo, and Jimbo and Sully are right behind him. The nationalists get into a fight, and Nayeli and Adamico beat them up. Nayeli is shocked and hurt to find out that Yolo is having sex with Matt when they get back to Matt's house after mine night. Carla tells Nayeli that Irma called and is on her way, and Nayeli decides she needs to go to Kankakee, Illinois to find Don Pepe. The next day, Nayeli tries to get Shava, who is very scared, to go see Irma. Matt helps Nayeli plan her trip, and in the morning, Nayeli and Tacho leave. Irma laughs as she accepts Shava in San Diego. She then meets Mexican guys. She talks to more than 70 guys who want to go home, but only 27 of them are allowed to go with her. Nayeli and Tacho stop in Las Vegas on their way to Illinois. They are mesmerized by it at night, but they are disappointed by it during the day. Later, they stop at a Mexican restaurant in Utah. When Nayeli tells the cook that she and Tacho crossed the line without permission, the cook kicks them out. As they go from place to place, many people think they are from the Middle East. Tacho becomes more and more unhappy, and this feeling peaks when he gets very sick at the Mississippi River. He drives with a fever on the last day to Kankakee, and Nayeli goes on her own to find Don Pepe. A guy tells her to go to the library, where a kind librarian named Mary Jo helps her find her father and even drives Nayeli to Don Pepe's house. Once she gets there, Nayeli is overjoyed until she sees her father get out of a truck with another woman and a young child. Nayeli is sad, so he puts the letter on his truck and asks Mary Jo to help him and Tacho buy bus tickets back to San Diego. In Arizona, soldiers from the border guard stop the bus. One of the agents is Arnie, who bought her snacks the first time she was held by Border Patrol. When Arnie hears that they were successful, he doesn't arrest Nayeli and Tacho. Instead, he drives them all the way to San Diego. In the concluding scenes, Nayeli and Tacho return to Tres Camarones with Adamico and an army of soldiers, and the village women know change has come.
About the author. Luis Urrea was born in Tijuana, Mexico, but he was described as an American born abroad. Both of his parents worked in San Diego, so when Urrea was 3, his family moved there so he could get better from tuberculosis. His mother, who was born in the US and grew up on Staten Island, pushed him to write and go to college. In 1977, he got his bachelor's degree in writing from the University of California at San Diego. A few years later, he went to the University of Colorado at Boulder to get his master's degree. He worked for a short time as a rescue worker in Tijuana's dump, which is a place that shows up in the movie Into the Beautiful North. Urrea has also said that some of the characters in Nayeli, Vampy, and Yolo came from his then-teenage daughter and her friends. His historical books are based on his great-aunt. He teaches creative writing at the University of Illinois Chicago and has written several books, collections of short stories, and collections of poems, many of which have won awards and been praised. He is in the Latino Literature Hall of Fame and was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize for Nonfiction in 2005.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.